was winning 6-3, 2-6, 5-3, and then it says unfinished. Dude, it's D3. Like, let him finish. What?
Yeah,
What?
I know,
Like,
and I think that a lot of the coaches in our conference would agree with that. But also, you got to follow rules.
Do up to the ding ding dong day. Do up to the ding ding dong day.
on the interview docket today, we have David Youngs, who's a great friend of mine, just won Coach of the Year for the MIAC. He is the coach of the Concordia College Cobbers. We're going to do a little bit of a season recap, talk about what went right this season, some of the highlights. So super pumped to get into it with him. There he is. Let's go. Let's go. What up, Dave?
Hey, how's it going?
Going good. Dude,
Can
Coach
you
of the
hear me?
Year. Coach of the Year.
Hey,
How
hey.
does it feel?
How does it feel? It feels sunburnt. I tell you what. First weekend after the season, I went out crappie fishing. Did not bring sunscreen. I got sunburnt. Did the same thing the next weekend. Thankfully, this past week though, we had our end of the year athletic celebration at a Fargo Moorhead Redhawks game, and our trusted athletic director Rachel Bergerson did have sunscreen with her. That's athletic director, mom, and it's yeah. So we're getting there. But it's good to be on with you, Isaac.
Yeah. Wait, so were you asking like around, like, hey, does anyone have any sunscreen?
No, it was a proactive offer by
Okay.
Rachel. She said to the entire group of coaches, if anybody needs sunscreen, I've
Okay.
got some. And so I said, I in fact do, because I burn easily and was already burned. But it's no, we're just we've got an outstanding group of coaches and administration at Concordia, and so they step up when you need them to.
There you go. Yeah, and reason for the call was not just to congratulate and talk about the award, but highlight the season. Do
Yeah,
maybe a little bit of a season recap. Maybe the first annual Cobber season recap will be for sure an annual thing. Yeah, maybe,
absolutely.
maybe an annual thing. But yeah, how do you think the season went?
It was an outstanding season for our men. On paper and results wise, we posted the most wins the program has had since 2018. Our first playoff appearance since 2018. First time that we've had four guys make the all conference team since 2018, as well as four members of our team that were named to the I was going to say COSIDA. It's now the CSC, College Sports Communicators All District Academic Team. Really proud of Kai Pierce, Daniel Scrady, Logan Sandberg, and Isaac Maddock for that. That's a huge deal. We improved our win total in singles dramatically. Doubles as well, is their work to do, of course. So results-wise, it was great. But overall, when I reflect on our season, it was really fun to see our guys hit their stride when it mattered most. Isaac, as a former player and a talented one at that the tennis season is quick, but sometimes it feels like an eternity. And I think that turning point for us was spring break. We had some good results down in Florida, but coming back after that, some teams will essentially sink, others will rise, and we were the latter. Last year, under the coaching of Nate Young, who, as you know, is a great friend of mine and a wonderful coach, the team was in a lot of close matches in the conference. But unfortunately, whether it be super tiebreakers or just close matches, oftentimes ended up on the losing side of things. We still had those close matches this year, but we came out on top. We our first conference win was against St. Mary's. That was our first match after spring break, and that was wonderful for our guys to hop in a van, drive 5 hours down to Winona, and then play. It was kind of like a Michael Jordan flu game in a sense, because half of our guys, including myself, were sick. But the guys competed beautifully and got the job done. Then after that, we hosted a weekend against Wisconsin Superior and Scholastica, two very high caliber opponents that we've lost to for a couple of years in a row now. Superior wins their division of the UMAC, the Upper Midwest Athletic Conference. And it's comprised of a lot of really talented players from around the world, frankly. And we were able to win that one 4-3. So that was a huge momentum
Didn't
booster for
Superior
us.
didn't Superior join the MIAC?
No, Scholastica did.
Oh yeah,
Superior, right?
Scholastica.
Yeah, it's see the MIAC. The M in the MIAC stands for Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
know. I don't know. Maybe the MIAC was getting desperate. I don't know.
no, the MIAC is prosperous as ever.
All
But even though that one wasn't a conference match, um, I think it for our guys, it lit a fire in them that hey, we belong here. We belong in this conference. We belong in competitive college tennis. And that was so cool to see as a coach.
and I know you weren't coaching last year, and you said a lot of the matches were tight last year, and maybe they didn't go the way of the Cobbers. And this year, I'm seeing for those two results, you guys played at Courts Plus. Do you think
Yeah,
having that home advantage? I mean, you guys won 4-3 against Wisconsin Superior, and then 5-4
4.
against Saint Scholastica. So super tight. Do you think the home advantage played a part?
I think so to an extent. I think that when you look at a college tennis match, it's yes, the where you're playing matters, but the going on the road, waking up early, being in a van where your legs are just sitting there, and then being expected to okay, get off the van, we'll stretch for a little bit, but then hey, we're jumping into warm-ups. That that messes with, I guess, what you could call the homeostasis a little bit. Um, and so for our guys to be able to play at a wonderful facility like Courts Plus, that's just 10 minutes away from campus, and one that they practice at, one that a lot of them work at and teach lessons at, is a huge advantage in that sense. You know, Tangibly speaking, the courts played really well. The lighting is great, and I think it's great for spectators as well. Yes, there are benefits to clubs that have 6 courts in a row, um, but I love at Courts Plus how on the back 3 courts, and you know this, for doubles, it can get electric in there. It's the sound resonates really well. But then for singles, courts 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, it is so nice for spectators if they want to sit on the bleachers, they can do that. But if they want to watch through the window too, there's a variety of amenities. And so, to answer your question, yes, I think that's huge. Um, do I think the result would have been different on the road? I don't know. We didn't play them on the road, but we will next year. But I do know that our guys did a really good job and continued to improve throughout the course of the season when we were on the road, equipping and preparing themselves, whether that be hydration, whether that be making sure that they are, filled with nutrition. And that, because that stuff matters in our conference. The reality is, Isaac, the number 3 team in our conference through the rest of the conference was competitive this year. Um, there were teams that didn't make the playoffs that beat teams that did make the
So
playoffs.
how many teams made the playoffs?
5. There are 5 teams that make the playoffs on
And
the
you guys
men's
were the
side.
five. And you guys were the 5.
Correct.
And then you guys played Olaf. Yeah, you guys played Olaf.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you right there. It's pronounced Olaf.
Olaf.
This is not
Um,
Frozen. It's pronounced Olaf.
in Frozen, it's pronounced Olaf as well.
No, in Frozen, it's pronounced Olaf.
Yeah, they're Olaf then.
No, they're
Yeah.
not. But okay, agree to disagree.
All right. I'm never changing how I say that, so you can correct me every time, but I'm not
I will.
changing it.
I will.
Did you think you had a shot in that match? And looking back on it, did you have a shot?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, credit to St. Olaf. They've got a young team, which is exciting because we get to play them again next year. We get to host them at our beautiful outdoor courts in the fall. Um, they're a great team. They're a young team. Great coach in Joey Kronzer. Yeah, we had a shot. They played better than us, though. I was really proud of our guys in that match because we won the doubles point. For those who aren't familiar, in the MIAC during the regular season, all 3 doubles matches count as points. So let's say a team wins 2, and the other team wins 1. The score is 2-1. However, in the playoffs, we go to what Division 2 and Division 1 uses, where whoever wins a majority of the doubles matches gets the singular doubles point. Um, our top doubles team of Ryoga Yano and Isaac Maddock won a great match at one doubles. Our number 2 team lost a tough one. They didn't play their best, but they competed well. They fought hard, maximum effort. You're going to have those days. So it came down to number 3 doubles, our team of Daniel Scrady and Kai Pierce. And they won on one of the coolest shots that I've seen in a long time. Daniel Scrady, who is a pickleball savant, I should mention, hit a swinging backhand volley to clinch the match on the deuce point. And so our guys were pretty pumped for that. And so whenever you win the doubles point, that's momentum going into singles. And we had close matches, frankly. Number 1 singles, Ryoga's match didn't finish because in the playoffs, once the end result of the meet is concluded, we pull all the matches. That's just NCAA ITA policy. But Ryoga played their top guy, Bogdan, who is an outstanding player, great competitor. Ryoga didn't have his best day, but a lot of that I think was because of the way that Bogdan competed. Isaac Maddock won a great match at number 2. He really started to play, he played well all season. But that was, I just wish that our season could have gone 2 more weeks because he was playing extremely well. Isaac is he's an outstanding tennis player with a basketball mindset, I'll put it that way. And that really, really helps him. At 3, Logan Sandberg, who was one of our all-conference singles recipients, fought super hard and lost a tough 3-set battle to Lou Smith, who's a very talented freshman from St. Olaf. At 4 singles, Kai Pierce lost to Madden Vanderwerf, who was actually named MIAC Rookie of the Year. Madden started at number 6 in the fall for them and moved up to 4, and frankly played outstanding tennis, which Kai maybe didn't have his best day, but Kai also, similar to Isaac, playing his best tennis at the end of the year, which was so fun to watch.
Wait, you said a kid who was playing 4 singles won MIAC Player of the Year?
Rookie of the Year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna have a little bit of a discussion on that.
Yeah, no, he
also,
Rookie of the Year.
I want to go back because I feel like I got to bring this up. So you said Ryoga, and I'm looking at the result. Bogdan, he was winning 6-3, 2-6, 5-3, and then it says unfinished. Dude, it's D3. Like, let him finish. What?
Yeah.
What?
I know,
like,
and I think that a lot of the coaches in our conference would agree with that, but also you got to follow rules. Just like
yeah, but
vegetables.
who's creating the rules for D3? Like, what? Why is anyone creating that rule? Like, let them play, right? Like, you're not, right? You're not playing for, like, no one's getting his sponsorships. It's not like you're playing to play. You're playing so it's like a competitive match. You know what I mean? Not you don't agree?
No, I hear you out, and it is frustrating, and I think that, I think Ryoga probably was bummed too. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like that's out of our control. What is within our control is how we respond to that.
Yeah, but it still can be. You can still disagree with not finishing it out. Like the status quo doesn't necessarily always have to be the correct way. No, you don't agree?
No, I agree.
Okay.
But one day when I'm commissioner of the NCAA or the ITA, I'll make that change.
Is it what has that rule always existed? Did they just
Yeah, it's been in existence for 10 plus years. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I guess never been in a close conference match. When we played, in 2018, right? Together. Did we have any matches that like they just cut off?
Yeah, mine got pulled.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I wasn't going to win that match anyways, but I got pulled.
Dang. Yeah, I mean, maybe because it's playoffs, it makes a little bit more sense. Because during the year you're going to play it out, and then I guess I can see it a little bit, but still, I don't know. Yeah, I could go both ways on it, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to the NCAA wants unity between Division 1, 2, and 3. You combine that with also how do we grow the game of tennis, and that's something that the NCAA is very aware of, and the ITA is as well, and they're trying new things out, which some things are going to work, some things aren't. But it really is, it is what it is. I will say too, at five singles, Kai Kringley didn't have his best day, but again, is going to be an absolute threat for us next year. And at six, Hunter Rice lost an absolute battle at six singles in 3 sets. And so to go back to your initial question, yeah, we were right there. And it hurts, but also we can't control the results. At the end of the day, St. Olaf played better than us. And for us to even, to get there, one, but two, be competitive. I think our guys after the match when we chatted, were they bummed? Of course. But it wasn't a doom and gloom situation. I think there was a light, a spark of, hey, we're in a really good spot for next year.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to highlight some of the players, maybe the all conference players, just because they were I guess awarded by the conference, highlighting their success. So you said there's 4 players on your team that won all conference?
Yeah. Yep. So
so starting at the top, so did Ryoga? Did he win?
Yep. Ryoga was named to the all conference singles team.
How do you think Ryoga's year went? Where do you think someone like that could improve? Because you kind of, with Ryoga, I wouldn't say you got lucky because you have to like manage the situation. And I remember talking with you about him, and you definitely put a lot more work into like his situation with get him activated and eligible. And there's more to it than just like having someone start who's really good. But where do you think he can go with his like sophomore, junior, and senior season?
Well, it was an absolute privilege to have Ryoga join us this year. He clearly right away you could tell this was a talented player, but Ryoga hadn't played competitive tennis for a couple of years due to injury. And so once we got him eligible for our spring season, he took off. I think, looking at his situation and in our conference, you look at the ones, minus a couple of teams, pretty much every single one in the conference was an upper class student athlete. Ryoga was a freshman, and he held his own. He won a lot of matches. And so next year is going to be, I think, one of those years where the play is going to continue to improve, but also the maturity of being in those situations of close matches. You know this as well as anybody. At the number 1 spot in the MIAC, everybody's good. It's not necessarily like some high school conferences where, there's a great level of disparity between the number 1 from one school and another school. No, everybody can play. You're getting everybody's best crack. And that requires mental toughness and I would say clarity, the ability to let go of results. That can be really tough to do because, we play a super tiebreaker for the 3rd set in our conference and at the Division III level. As you know, like, it does, first set, second set, like a super tiebreaker is 10 points. It's really up in the air. And he did a really good job this year coming out on top in those. And I would love to see that continue. And just continue to be, naturally as a number 1 player, you're a leader on a team. But continue to, bring the guys together. And Ryoga is somebody that brings great enthusiasm and passion to the court. And we want to see more of that.
Yeah. And yeah, he had a great season. You guys were 7-11, you guys were 7-11 your overall record. He was 7-4. I'm looking at all of your guys' records, and he has the I think the highest winning percentage of all your guys. And playing number 1, you're playing all against the toughest guys. Getting someone like that, for 3 more years is so massive and important to build around too. Does that have you talked with any specific recruits or anything like that to kind of build around this really, really good squad?
Yeah, we have, and we're in a lucky situation where we return most of our guys next year, but we're adding some too. And it's one of those things that given the season that we have, we're on the map. That matters. It really does, because if you're, a solid recruit, you want to go somewhere where their team's going to be competitive. Obviously, every recruit has different things in mind that come down to, where am I going to go? What is the best place for me? But winning and being competitive is, I can guarantee, something for everybody. And so we're there now, and Ryoga's played a huge part in that.
Yeah. And so some of the other all-conference players that you had was Logan Sandberg. He plays 3. Was Isaac an all-conference player?
Isaac was named to the all-conference doubles team. Isaac is one of the scrappiest doubles players that I've seen. He's got hands like butter at the net, and is just a leader on the court too. I was so happy.
He's got a nice one-y.
He does. You don't see that often these days in this neck of the woods up north here. But his one-y is beautiful, and it's a strength for him. Was so pleased with how he was a leader on the doubles court this year, being paired with Ryoga, who obviously are our number 1 player. But I don't care if you're our 1 or number 6 or number 12. The transition to college doubles from junior play is a big transition. And Isaac was an outstanding leader on the court. And Isaac was also named to the All MIAC or the All Playoff team for the MIAC.
Yeah, and you said, who was the last all conference player that you mentioned?
Kai Pierce.
Was
named to the All Conference Singles Honorable Mention team.
And one thing that I kind of want to talk about interesting how you manage it. So with Kai specifically, and I think Logan as well, is they're playing 1 and 2. I believe it was last year, or maybe it was the year before. And then
last year.
Ryoga comes in. Isaac steps up and gets better. So those guys move down a spot, but they're both all conference players. How did they kind of react to that, and how did you manage that?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's as tennis players, we all take a great sense of pride in competing to the best of our ability. But that being said, I mean, it's tough when you have to move positions. You and I both experienced that. If you're a football player and you get moved, from a slot receiver to out wide, it's an adjustment. If you get moved from starting 5 to the 6th man in basketball, it's an adjustment. Same thing for these guys. But I will tell you this, even though tennis is an individual sport, these guys are both team players. And so we had those conversations, and they both handled it with the utmost grace, integrity. And at the end of the day, a point at 1 counts the same as a point at 4, a point at 6, a point at 3 doubles, a point at 1 doubles. It doesn't matter. I don't care where you're playing in the lineup. If you can help us be better, then we want you to be in that lineup.
That is true. You do get a point, but there is the ego. There is.
There is, and we all have an ego, but these guys don't, in a sense where they want the team to be the priority. And so if there are 2 individuals that I had to put, or that had to be in that situation, those are 2 guys who I knew going into that there wouldn't be issues. And they're leaders on our team. They're 2 of our 3 captains that were selected by their teammates for next year. And so I couldn't be more proud of them.
Yeah. I'm just reading through some of my questions. What do these guys need to do in the off season to put you guys over the edge and maybe win that first conference match?
I mean, it sounds like eating your veggies, but continue to play. I've also told our guys it's okay to take a few weeks off. We always hear this phrase in sports of embrace the grind. That can be true to an extent. You also need to mind the grind, because tennis is a sport that's susceptible to burnout, and I don't want our guys getting burnt out as somebody who experienced that. And also finding ways to make the sport fun in the off season. The off season is the time, however, if you want to work on technique. Our season is so short that you're not going to want to change grips or work on your backswing on your forehand too much during the season, because you've got a match 3 days from then. However, the summer is that time to do that. And so those are points of emphasis, but also playing matches, and playing matches. Whether that be practice sets, whether that be playing, tournaments here in the Fargo-Moorhead area, Greater North Dakota, and Minnesota. And I know that our guys are going to do that.
Yeah, you have to play tournaments. If you don't play tournaments, you're not going to get better.
Yep,
Like, you can't just show up during the season. You have to, like I'm saying, like you have to. If you're in a collegiate lineup and you want to have any sort of success, it's necessary. It's something you
correct.
have to do. Um, and as someone who didn't really like, working out, like I didn't really like the working out part and like doing like the conditioning sort of it. You can get away with at the D3 level. I mean, you can get away with just, being, an addict to the sport and really, really enjoy the sport. It just doesn't work at the D1 level or, D2 level. That's the cutoff.
Well, I
I
would
think
say
that's
that tennis is a unique sport because quote unquote off-season lifting for tennis looks extremely different than it would in basketball and football.
right.
By getting out and playing matches or even just drilling or hitting, you're utilizing and toning the muscles that you need for
True.
matches. You're working on your footwork. I mean, I would never tell our guys to go out and just copiously bench press and squat because that's not going to help you as a tennis player. However, footwork is.
I'm seeing Kai Kringley up on the balcony sometimes. Lex and I went in and did a couple walks around the track, utilized the free opportunity there, and Kai's going up there. I don't know if he's squatting, but I mean Kai's pretty big.
Kai's our gym rat,
are you
but he
dissing his
also works on the
workout
other things
resume?
really well too. Yeah.
Are you dissing his workout resume?
I am not. I fully support because I think working out obviously it's good physically, but it's good for you mentally too. But I'm just saying that it looks different than other sports.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I'm trying to and then yeah, so for you, as a part-time, because it's a part-time position, the Concordia head coach, you also do other things. What does the off season look like for you?
Yeah. Well, right away, similar to what I told our guys, take a little break. I took a little cleanse as well, fishing and whatnot. But now it's getting back to recruiting. Monitoring, for a lot of our Minnesota recruits, they're in the section tournament right now. The state tournament takes place in a couple of weeks, so we'll be headed down there to Baseline and to Reed Sweat to watch some of our guys, but also shaping things for next year. And as a first year head coach, sometimes it feels like you're drinking from the fire hose, and so it's so nice to have that year under my belt now because I can be proactive about things and create almost like a handbook for our program. What are our values? What do we want to be? And we talked about that throughout the course of the year, but having concrete things, having concrete expectations, because like any job, there's things that I did well this year. There's things that I can do a lot better job of. And so I'm looking forward to leaning into that. And then also just organizing things for our guys to give them access to tennis. But also, we're looking at doing a retreat later in the summer. We're looking at what can we do to maximize our schedule next year. Obviously, we've got our conference schedule, but non-conference matches as well.
Yeah, and to kind of top it off, Dave, thanks so much for chatting about this. Haven't seen you in a while. I feel like we haven't talked in a while.
I know it's been a hot second.
At least on camera, we haven't talked in
Right.
a while. But yeah, is there any shout outs that you wanna give? Any shout outs you want to put out into the world?
Yeah, I mean, I would just love to thank Concordia and our guys. It's anytime that you win an individual award, whether it be an all-conference award for as a player or a coach of the year. The great Bo Schembechler, Michigan football coach, once said, "There's nobody greater than the team. Every individual award is a team award, and that means the guys on our team. That means our coaching staff, such as Vic Youngs, you, Oliver Summers, our athletic administration, like Rachel Bergerson, Ben Schneeweiss, our trainers, and so it's a total team effort. And just a thank you to fellow coaches in the MIAC. It's been so fun to get to know some of my colleagues. We're really lucky. The MIAC is recognized nationwide in Division III tennis for being a talented conference, a deep conference, but a conference that's filled with really good people. And I saw that firsthand this year. Whether it be conversations with folks my age, like Chase Johnson, who's the coach and a friend at McAllister, to conversations with folks who've been around the block a few times, like Tommy Valentini or Jack Bowe or Drew Fernelius. really lucky to have people that are willing to give advice. Of course, we all want our teams to win, but it is very much an environment where we all do better when we all do better. And so that having that as a support system has been wonderful.
Yeah, we all do better when we all do better. Those are words to live by. I love it.
Paul Wellstone.
Yeah, thank you, David. Yeah, bye everybody.
Do up, diddling, ding dong, day.